Susie, you and then they would know, but then that'll happen. That's you, you're feeling. My baby? You're baby. No, I'm watching. So I'm going to find out. They're, my.
I think 54 is done to be like.
Verizon, it is 5:30, so shall we get started on the pre-meeting? Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilors, good evening. Good to be with you tonight. The first item on your meeting agenda is with regard to a proposed budget summary, as you can see on the title for fiscal year 25. This is the opportunity that we have to take statutorily to present to you raw numbers as it relates to the budget that you can anticipate we're going to be designing our delivery around here in just a few weeks. So, not a lot of analysis with regard to what you have in front of you. Strictly the raw numbers that you can start to peruse if you'd like. And, by all means, if you have any questions between now and the time that we actually go to the delivery mode, don't hesitate to give us a call. And that really is all this part of the agenda was intended for, Your Honor.
Very good. I guess next would be the citizen feedback summary.
The survey, Mr. Mayor and councilors, is with regard to what we viewed as an element of your goals that you set from an engagement standpoint, a year or a year and a half ago. We've been working on some ideas as it relates to trying to fulfill that request of yours. And we've got some ideas that we'd like to run by you tonight and get your direction on and feedback and so forth. With that, I'd like to turn the time over to the team that's been working on this. And it's where you're kind of the point person. Would you help us there? Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Your honors, members of council. So we are here to present the citizen survey that we would like to do in order to address one of the goals council determined in early 2023, which was citizen engagement. And the objective under this goal that we were addressing was utilizing citizen input and feedback loops to provide guidance on citizen priorities. So our team consists of myself, Jolene Martinez, Manager of Public Relations, Michael Sevchek, IT Manager, Tracy Belzer, Court Services Director, and Tom Brower, there he is, COO. So we met and discussed this goal and this objective and decided that we could go one of two routes, doing a scientific survey or doing a broader type survey. Given the open-ended nature of the questions and the need to define clear parameters before allocating resources, we decided to offer a simpler approach. So we went with the online survey approach. We decided to conduct this via our website or through ArcGIS. As you can see, Michael has pulled it up on the screen and he'll go over it after. We decided that using online platforms such as Facebook, other social media channels, press releases, notes and water bills will help us to reach that broader audience and encourage participation in that survey. We also met to discuss what we wanted to include in the survey content-wise, such as residency, age, demographics, as well as the primary concerns for council. So the priorities of city resources and desired city services. So after we selected this tool for the survey, Michael was able to put it online and we were able to test it. And at this time, we would like to show you the tool and then get your feedback and hear if there's any concerns or questions you may have.
Mayor, Council, just real quickly, just to give you a brief overview of the technology behind the survey. It's, as Ms. Tremmel stated, we used a tool that we already subscribed to, so there was no cost associated, and it was pretty simple to create. As you can see here, we have all 9 questions. This is what it would look like on a computer screen. And then we also have, it's also designed to work in a mobile environment as well. So this is what it would look like on a phone. As you can see, some of the questions are the radio button style where you can only choose one answer and then you This is number 3, you can select multiple choices. Nothing too complex or different than any traditional survey. And then when the survey is over and we bring the results back to you, we'll be able to provide you a quality tool to see how the results panned out.
Y'all have any questions?
Vice Mayor.
So once we compile this information, is the point of this is to basically see where the citizens are saying that we're not engaging, to see if we can improve those areas? What's the ultimate point of this?
Yeah, so I think our goal for this was to find out if we are engaging our citizens and how we are engaging them or how we can engage them better. So all of that, whether if we're not, then how can we do better?
Mayor. Thanks, guys. I was curious, are we able to offer any sort of small incentive for people to complete the survey, $20 gift cards? My experience is there's much more engagement. We're able to offer some sort of incentive.
We didn't discuss this, but I do know we don't have a budget allocated per se to this goal.
You did or did
We
not?
did not.
I'll pitch in 5 minutes. Usually, like Talent Marketing is the local firm that I'm familiar with that does a lot of surveys, and they always offer a $20 prepaid Visa gift card and always get really good engagement with those surveys. And so it's just something if we're able to, I think a $20 prepaid gift card would get a lot more answers. So again, I'll let Eric determine whether we can actually do something like that, but seems to work.
Mike.
Just a couple questions. Would it be, I don't know, you maybe talked or thought about this, but maybe to provide some space for narrative comments from citizens as they complete the survey? I don't know. I know that can get a little hairy, but I just wonder if that might not, in the long run, give us some information about either, if there were either suggestions, the ways that, for ways the city could create more opportunities for engagement or provide services or questions they have about services. I'm not even sure what it would look like, but just a thought.
Your Honor, we do. So we have, as you can see, Michael, scroll to this question that asks how they may have heard news or engaged with the city. And we do have that other category.
Oh, I see.
And that when you select that would give you that. We
I see.
did not leave just open where you could type
Mhm.
just because that is hard to compile.
Right.
This will automatically compile it and give us statistics. And so that's why we tried to keep it limited so that we could look at that and see if there's a great number of responses that say other what it was.
Sure.
But for the most part,
Yeah. Well, I just think about, the statistics, the numerical data would be helpful. I mean, that's the qualitative, but I think there's still value in some more quantitative, narrative. But again, I haven't really thought through the exact questions or that type of thing, but again, I think it's sometimes helpful and might be considered. And then my other, and this is strictly it's just an initial reaction. When I first read the survey, and I saw the COC acronym, I don't know, I don't know if it was just me but it kind of, I don't know, COC, CDC, it just, why, is there a reason why you just don't say Casper instead of, and I mean, I can think of lots of reasons why, but.
Your Honor, we can definitely change that. We weren't tied to anything.
Yes, it's
I
like,
think when we were doing it and going over it, it just seemed very repetitive. We kept saying City of Casper, City of Casper, City of Casper.
right.
So we shortened it, but we can put that in there very easily.
Yeah,
Not a big change.
yeah, no, it's not a biggie, but yeah, and I realize it's in parentheses and it tells exactly what it is. That was the thing, it's just.
We can
I
make that clear.
have to think about acronyms sometimes, but
Thank you. I like that, this is short and simple. I think that also helps to get more participation, and I like that it's a tool that we already have. There are a couple questions on here that I'm trying to imagine once we get the results from this survey, like what can we do with this information? And so there's a couple on here that I'm wondering if we might be able to approach from a slightly different angle to get more useful information. Like, for instance, you believe City of Casper is responsive to community feedback? Yes, no, or sometimes. If they say no, I'm not really sure what would the action then be? If they say we're not responsive, then it's like, okay, but that doesn't give us a lot of clarity as to, you know, in what ways they're finding us to be unresponsive to them. So, you know, I don't want to bog it down with too much specificity or too much detail. But that question and then the first two, I'm just trying, I feel like they're important and these are important for us to know, but I wonder if just simple yes, no, maybe, like, I'm not sure that gets us anything that we would be able to do much with once we kind of see the breakdown. I mean, if everybody said yes, then it's like, okay, cool, pack up, we're good to go, right? But I assume that's not what is gonna be said. So if we get no, it's sort of like, I need a why, like, no, why, but what do you mean no? So I don't know if there's a way that we could delve a little bit into the nuance of a no without overcomplicating the issue.
Mayor, council, maybe what, we could potentially do is combine, Councilor Bond's suggestion with your suggestion. And like under number 2, have a sub question that if no, then, or how can the city improve?
Yeah.
But that, so we won't be able to have statistics to that specific response, but at least we'll be able to have some information that we can look at and see some of the feedback.
Yeah, I think that'd be helpful.
And I know you're on the list, but I wanted to stick a cent worth in here before I get back to you, if that's okay.
I'll allow you even a couple.
Well, thank you. I guess I would be Kyle had mentioned giving some kind of a carrot out there to get people to participate, but citizen engagement is a two-way street. We put it out there. We don't need to try to buy their vote or their input. If they want to be engaged, they should be. And if we let the citizens know via all the social media aspects, then those that want to be engaged should wind up being engaged. And that bothers me that we would be trying to bribe them into filling out the survey. Now, that's my 2 cents worth. Mr. Gamble.
I liked the compromise. I think there should be at least one opportunity for a narrative approach, and I understand it won't. We're kind of establishing some baseline metrics that hopefully we can measure against the next couple of years to decide if our marketing is kind of achieving the goals that we set out. But I like providing at least one opportunity for a little bit of a narrative, because sometimes people offer some really great ideas that the 9 of us up here hadn't thought of before. And then I would also agree with Councilor Bond that as far as City of Casper, it does get a bit redundant at times, but as someone who's personally thought about using COC in my messaging and stuff, I thought that's just too much fodder for immature trolls to play with. So I would probably agree with him on that one.
Very good. Any other questions or comments?
Me.
Oh, and I had you written
Look at your
down.
paper.
Look at my paper. You're right there. Ms. Vice Mayor.
Just on a couple of those, if somebody were to select no, then could it just have like a pop-up that said, if no, why, or something of that nature, so that it wouldn't just offer that blank line just to begin with? You think that would be a possibility? Because I'm just afraid that people would just start filling in the blanks versus answering that question, and those questions automatically feed that.
Mayor, council, I will check. You make a good point. I just don't know if those capabilities exist with this particular. solution that we're using.
Okay.
But it is a good point.
Any other questions or comments?
Laura.
If I can add one thing, those questions are all required, so they won't be able to answer the blank without filling in this one as well. So at least there's that, even if we can't have the pop-up.
Okay.
Anything else? So what were we looking for with this? Is that just to let us know what we're doing?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Information only, very good. We appreciate it. Anything else?
Good work.
Your Honor, I think we're just hoping we'll make those changes, and then I think we're hoping to open it next week.
Sounds great. Thank you. Thank you both.
Yeah.
Community project federal funding.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilors, we're trying to continue the trajectory that we've had in terms of obtaining funding for critical projects that are otherwise unfunded, if you will. And true to our previous practice, however, we want to be sure that you're comfortable with the pursuit of the projects that we are trying to find funding for. And generally speaking, don't want you to be surprised when grant agreements and so forth come forward if we are successful in pulling these funds together and making some of these projects happen. So tonight is the purpose of keeping you abreast of our efforts and activities. You know that some of us will be traveling to Washington here in a couple weeks to put hopefully a face behind some of these applications with our delegation. And again, part of this is to keep you abreast of what that involves and what projects we're trying to pursue funding for. So with that, Mr. Mayor, if I can turn some time over to Pete to walk us through some of these efforts. If you have any questions, please avail us of those and we'll do our best to try to answer.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Yes, as city manager mentioned, these are 4 requests that we're trying to get out in the open, and so that our congressional delegation can help us with these as we talked about earlier. These are 4 requests that we are talking about. One for preliminary work on the fire station, specifically design and land acquisition. One that is for the resurfacing of Town Drive. One is for the purchase of some equipment for dispatching center, 911 center. And then another is for the purchase of police cars. These are all major expenses that we can see on the horizon where you don't have a good funding source available just yet. And so certainly we're wanting to avail ourselves of any federal funding opportunities that might come up.
Questions from anybody? Thank you very much, Pete. We appreciate it. Energy efficiency and conservation block grant application.
Mr. Mayor, in the spirit of what we just accomplished with you on the previous item, a couple other opportunities that we want to pursue. In this particular case, we're talking about a block grant application, which generally can have the feel of a direct distribution sort of allocation. And so we want to give you a heads up with regard to what we'd like to do with these dollars if we are fortunate enough to be able to obtain this funding. And so with that, if I could turn some time over to Mr. Brower to walk us through that, that really is all we need this evening.
Very good.
Mr. Mayor, councilors, pleasure to be here tonight. And even before I came here, we've had the availability of this grant. So with the help of Pete and and Alex, we were trying to explore where some electrical power consumption issues and potential conservation measures were. And there was a lot of different options that were explored. And one of the things that came to light is over decades and decades, we have numerous different flavors of agreements with Rocky Mountain Power for streetlights. Some of them we maintain, they maintain, some we maintain, whether it's the light heads or the light poles themselves. And it's amazing how much our power bills are every month for those for those streetlights. And so as part of this project, we thought, wouldn't it be nice if we could wrap our hands around this? Also consider LED options, lower power use options, and figure out ways that we could potentially save the city money and reduce electrical usage by converting some of these lights. So this is for a consultant. This grant would be used ultimately for a consultant to go out and inventory all those and work very closely with Rocky Mountain Power to discern, you know, the nature of these agreements for all the hundreds of streetlights that are in the city of Casper, and then develop a strategy for how we reduce power usage and how we hopefully try and simplify and streamline all those different natures of the contracts that we have with Rocky Mountain Power that have been transitioned. Again, it seems like every 10 years, Rocky Mountain Power kind of changes the scope and nature of those agreements for streetlights. So that's what the intention is for this available grant funding.
Any questions?
So this is this block grant, that's through the state of Wyoming. Correct?
Mayor and Councilor, I believe it's a second generation federal funding. Yeah.
Like to flow through federal
Yes.
but through a state agency.
It's just, no, it's straight from, Pete's a lot more familiar with the nature of the grant itself. But yeah, it actually comes directly from the feds.
Okay. Well, just one thing, and this is probably something I thought I'm too late to mention to Pete too, but just something I think we need to keep in mind that, you know, we pretty consistently get feedback and questions from constituents about the strings attached to federal grants. And so I just want us to be aware of that. I mean, I'm not opposed to them at all. I think I fully support them and I'm on board completely, but just to be aware of it, we get those questions periodically about the strings attached. So yeah, you know, I think it's just a necessary thing. So just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, there, Councilor, we try and be very discerning. I know I've had several meetings with the attorney's office, ensuring that we're meeting all the terms of these grants and ensuring that there's not a requirement, that, for example, these would all turn into solar lights or something like that. So it really is the focus of this was trying to figure out how we reduce power consumption and the impact on the grid. And so we just saw this when we looked at, Pete did an excellent job of collecting all this data about the amount of our power bills to Rocky Mountain Power for these. And so we thought, this is a high dollar figure. And are there ways that we can try and reduce this cost, and can we again streamline these agreements so we don't have a whole myriad of agreements? So we absolutely believe we're in compliance with the terms and have not noted any particular strings that would mandate,
Well, some of the and again, like I said, I'm on board completely with this and I support it wholeheartedly. Some of the questions, at least that I've gotten about, federal grants have been like, oh, they want our data, things like that are requirements of the grant, or we're gonna have to sign off on so many Title IX or whatever agreements that will uphold, and those are the types of things that they're getting mentioned to me in emails and so forth. So I just want us to be aware. It's not that, not any reason at all to not consider applying, but just to be aware of.
Councilor Gamroff.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, Councilor Bond. I get those questions often as well. I'm quick to point people. Usually we publish, I would say always, we publish the contracts in our work packets. And so I'm always quick to refer people to those, and they're usually very disappointed at how boring they are. So we'll just offer that.
Any other questions? Let's go for the grant. Everybody in agreement with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Mr. City Manager, agenda review.
Your Honor, I have nothing to add with respect to this particular item.
Very good. It looks like we have about 5 minutes before the real meeting starts. So take a quick 5-minute break.
Pete's got my back.
Thank you.
Just keep it interesting.
Remember, I'm the one with the weapon up here.
Time's ticking.
Again,
It's ticking. We're here.
yes, very good. It is a couple of minutes past, so I apologize for being late. Before we begin this evening, I would like to remind everyone to silence their cell phones. Council meetings are live streamed on the city's YouTube channel. I now call the May 7th, 2024 regular council meeting to order. The chair would entertain a motion to, by minute action, excuse the absence of Councilor Sutherland.
So moved.
All voting aye.
Aye.
Please record the vote.
All councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please read the consent minute approval items.
Approving the minutes of the March 26, 2024 special council meeting as published in the Casper Star Tribune on April 18, 2024. The March 26, 2024 executive session, the April 2nd, 2024 regular council meeting as published in the Casper Star Tribune on April 27, 2024, and the April 2nd, 2024 executive session.
The chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent minute action agenda items just read.
So moved.
Second.
Any abstentions or nay votes? All voting aye.
Aye.
Aye. Please record the vote.
All councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
The chair would entertain a motion to approve by minute action the May 7th, 2024 general bills and claims as audited by the city manager Napier.
So moved.
Second.
Any abstentions or nay votes? All voting aye.
Aye.
Please record the vote.
With all councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
We would like to welcome members of the Casper Community Tennis Association to the meeting tonight. Please come forward to introduce yourselves and discuss National Tennis Month before I read the proclamation.
Good evening. My name is Tim Huff. I'm the Vice President of Casper Community Tennis Association. I'm here as a representative. So thank you all for issuing the proclamation claiming May is National Tennis Month for Casper. We're especially thankful this year because this is the first year that we've had the opportunity to play at the new Casper Tennis Complex on Beverly Street. The phenomenal facility that would not have been possible without the combined efforts of City of Casper and the Toronto County School District. We've already been able to put the facility to good use. We were able to play there. The high school teams were able to play there in the fall, and the high school teams were also able to play there in the spring. We also just this last weekend put on a tennis triples event where we had over 50 people come out and play for a couple hours. So it's been used so far. We have lots of fun events scheduled for this summer. We've got one-day tournaments happening at the beginning of June on June 1st and one happening halfway through July on June 13th, or July 15th, sorry. And we have, we're bringing the Wyoming Open back to Casper. It's been gone for quite some time, and so we're bringing that one back. It's going to be happening last weekend in June for both the juniors and the adults. We're also hosting two of the USTA Wyoming leagues here in Casper. One is happening the weekend of June 21st. The other is the weekend of July 19th. We're excited for these events to bring in more tennis players to Casper and get a chance to visit all of the great restaurants and local businesses here in Casper. Tennis is wonderful. Tennis has wonderful health benefits. A study by the Mayo Clinic showed that tennis can add nearly 10 years to your life, which is the most of any sport that they included in their study. Here in Casper, we have wonderful ways to participate in tennis. Casper Rec Center has tennis classes for both kids and adults, as well as they added a summer league
this summer. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. The Toronto County Library is, well, we're working with them to get books, rackets, and tennis balls that people can check out from the library if they're interested in playing tennis. And also 307 Tennis Club has great tennis opportunities for all ages, all year round. We hope everyone has has the opportunity to take advantage of these, great opportunities and stay, have fun and stay healthy. Once again, we would like to thank everyone for for the proclamation and for everything you have done to help make Casper Tennis Complex possible. We are excited for the Washington Park changes and look forward to being able to bring high school tennis, state tennis tournament to Casper. We'd like to give special thanks to Zelina Lopez and her staff for all the hard work they have done to keep both tennis and all other activities thriving in our parks. Thank you.
Hang on to your computer. This is the proclamation for the tennis. The USTA, founded in 1881, is the nonprofit national governing body for tennis in the United States and leads the promotion and growth of the sport at every level of play, from beginners to professionals at the US Open. And whereas the USTA, which has over 550,000 members across the country, proudly partners with local tennis programs, such as those offered by the City of Casper Recreation Division and the Casper Community Tennis Association, to showcase the important health, social, educational benefits of tennis and make the sport available to everyone, regardless of age, environment, condition, or ability, through its USTA Adaptive Grant. And whereas the latest research by the Physical Activity Council shows that more than 23.8 million Americans played tennis in 2023, an unprecedented 25% increase in participation over 2020, and the highest number of players since the PAC study began in 2007. And whereas by increasing the accessibility of tennis for citizens of Casper of all ages and abilities, the USTA, CCTA, and the City of Casper Recreation Division have contributed to making our community happier and healthier. Now, therefore, I, Stephen Cathy, Mayor of the City of Casper, Wyoming, join the USTA in its annual recognition of National Tennis Month and do hereby proclaim May 2024 as National Tennis Month and encourage players, organizations, facilities, and retailers to promote local programs and activities at parks and facilities throughout Casper to showcase tennis and spread the word about the sport and its benefits, and to help players and non-players alike find courts and play opportunities in our community. In witness whereof, I hereby and to set my hand and cause the official seal of the City of Casper, Wyoming, to be affixed the 7th day of May, 2023. Casper, City of Casper, Wyoming. Stephen Cathy. Congratulations. Now is the time we invite anyone in the audience who wishes to speak with the council to come forward. This portion of the meeting is dedicated to the public to allow them time to voice their concerns. Therefore, council will take communications under advisement, but if they choose to respond, they will do so at a later time. Please state your name, direct all questions and comments to the mayor and only the mayor. No personal obscenities or threats will be tolerated. Council will not respond to personnel matters. These will be referred to the city manager. If council chooses to address these matters, it will be done during the introduction of measures and proposals by council at the end of the meeting. Presentations will be limited to 5 minutes and no time extensions will be permitted. Please note that public hearings and ordinances each have their own comment period. You're on the spot, Mr. Strickman.
My name is Rush Strickman, Mayor, Council. Good evening. A few weeks ago, we had a discussion on the minimum revenue guarantee for the airline industry. And my understanding is that it was a work session. You put your thumbs up.
to put it into the budget as, it's a guarantee. It's not an actual number, it's a guarantee. But I know from experience over the years that very often budget items are not deleted or reduced, so it's likely that it will be part of the budget. Example, governor's budget was just under $9 billion. The legislature recently approved 11 billion. I hope there will be time for public input during the budget discussions that are coming up. I have a few questions. Who negotiated the passenger capacity threshold and revenue amounts to trigger the payment guarantees? Is that done by the state? Could tougher negotiations have been taken place? Fly Casper Alliance lists Delta's average daily passenger in their document as 72. Is that worth the millions of dollars that the state, county, and city is guaranteeing? It was mentioned that there's an $11 million economic benefit according to the Wyoming Department of Transportation. Is this related to the MRG or includes other reasons? Did the council review studies from other sources? I'll ask the city manager at some point for a copy of that study and see, maybe make some comments at a future meeting. If all $11 million resulted in sales tax revenue, our 1% equals about $110,000 to the city. Add the 31% of the 4% state tax, and we get another 136,000. So that comes to 246,000. That does not add up to 400,000 guarantee. Now, airlines need airports. There are federal grants for airport improvements, a federal traffic control system, TSA, public health protocols related to the SARS coronavirus, air quality, seating, and others. For example, in February, the Federal Aviation Administration awarded $970 million to 114 airports across the country for refurbishing and expanding aging infrastructure. So even though the federal taxes we pay are not directly related to the MRG, it is still taxes we pay. Fly Casper also listed that Delta no longer flies to several cities, one being Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, but that's 20 miles from the Scranton Airport, and Flint, Michigan, which is 20 miles from Detroit. If someone wants to fly Delta, there's nearby airports to go to. This morning, I priced out a round trip flight from Casper to Chicago, where I have some family and some events. United was $318 with one stop, round trip. Delta was $1,405 with two stops. I don't understand that. SkyWest net income is $34 million and Delta's was $5 billion. SkyWest marketing director committed $20,000 to promote travel to our airport. That is proof that they want the taxpayers to do all the heavy lifting. $20,000, I pay that in my marketing. So there's a number of problems, and I hope we can address it a little bit more. Finally, it is true that doctors fly here to perform procedures that cure people and save lives. However, there are a group of doctors who fly here to destroy lives. According to a New York Times article, 4 out-of-state doctors rotate and fly here to commit abortions. They come to destroy lives week after week, month after month. Since I am not aware of any Wyoming resident doctors who perform abortions, this Washington, D.C. based business could not be operating here without our airport. So yes, whether we like it or not, our tax dollars do contribute to the reason that they are open here. More than 600 babies have been killed here since last spring. That's like 10 mass shootings a week, which would put us in the international news. And I thank you for your time.
Any questions?
Thank you.
You bet. Anyone else would like to come
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members. My name is Andrea Stroman and I'm a resident of Cokes Road. Of course, I'm here on behalf of all the residents of Casper who are against having a gravel pit deface our mountain. What I'd like to address tonight is we have spoken about the detriment of heavy trucks to the paved portion of Cokes Road that was a three-way split between county, city, and residents for the first quarter mile. We've addressed the surface, the fact that it's 4 inches thick of asphalt and what the truck traffic might do to it. My concern was I've never heard it addressed of what lies beneath the surface. We are Casper City residents on Casper water and gas lines. We don't have propane tanks. We're Casper City residents. What would happen? I don't know. I'm not an engineer. How old are those lines? How deep are they? How would they be affected by heavy traffic? On an entirely separate note, I'm thrilled to hear about National Tennis Month, and I have one issue about that. As a spectator of multiple tennis tournaments, I love the new facilities. They are excellent. Appreciate everyone's assistance with that. However, spectator access for people with walkers, any kind of disabilities, there are only 2 routes at the moment. One, if you park by Highland Cemetery office building and walk the long concrete sidewalk all the way over to the tennis court. The other is if you park at the senior center on 4th Street and take the paved walk. Yes, you can park along Beverly and in the parking lot, but there are no ramps. There are very steep stairs. And I have personally witnessed multiple people having to assist handicapped individuals to get down to watch the tournaments. So if that could be a consideration in the future, or perhaps it already is, but that's something I think that everyone would like to see. Thank you very much for your time. Good evening.
Thank you. Any other public comment or questions? None appearing, we will move on. Please read the consent agenda item titles.
Establishing May 21st, 2024 as the public hearing date for consideration of A1A resolution adopting fiscal year 2024 budget amendment 3, 7A1B ordinance removing chapter 13.02 in its entirety and updating and amending chapters 13.04, 13.32, and 16.16 of the Casper Municipal Code pertaining to the CPU Advisory Board. 7A1C, new resort liquor license number 7 for F Street Rehab LLC, doing business as Riverside Hotel located at 300 West F Street. And 7A1D, transfer of ownership for retail liquor license number 24 from Alibi Bar and Lounge Incorporated, doing business as Alibi Bar and Lounge located at 1740 East Yellowstone, to Sunset Operations LLC, doing business as Alibi Bar located at 1740 East Yellowstone.
Before I call for a motion, you listed that as 24. It's shown in my agenda as 27 on the Alibi Bar.
Did I say 27?
You said 24, or I thought that's what you said.
It says that in the agenda.
Do what?
It says 24 in the agenda.
Okay, it said 27 here on my script. I was wanting to make sure which was the right one, so we got it in the minutes immediately.
So it is 20.
So it's 24. Very good. That was all I wanted to get squared away. Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion to, by minute action, establish the public hearing dates just read.
So moved.
Any abstentions or nay votes?
like to abstain from item 7A, 1C, and D.
All voting aye.
Aye.
Please record the vote.
With Counselor Pollak's abstention voted and all others voting aye, the motion passes.
Thought this was gonna be just to be able to tear them off, but I don't know if that's working or not. I now declare the public hearing open for the consideration of an ordinance amending chapter 10.24 of the Casper Municipal Code, speed limits and speed zones. Mr. City Attorney, do you have any exhibits?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do. Exhibit number 1, correspondence from Eric Nelson to J. Carter Napier dated April 30th, 2024. Exhibit number 2, Casper Star Tribune, proof of publication, published on April 25th, 2024.
Thank you. Mr. City Manager, do you have a report?
I do, Your Honor. Thank you very much. This is the proposal that council asked to come forward for formal consideration, wherein the manner by which speed limits are changed within the community would be amended if council approves, from a 3-reading ordinance amendment process to a resolution process, if you will, that does certainly still come forward in the public venue and forum, but would not be in the circumstance of having a 3-reading process with regard to every speed limit change that may be proposed by the staff or requested by the community. This certainly does have the benefit of reducing the administrative costs and as well as time dedicated to processes like this. And if you approve, we would certainly be in much more consistent delivery as other communities of our stature as well.
Thank you. Council will now listen to public comment. Public hearing comments are limited to 5 minutes and no duplication of speakers will be allowed. At this time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in favor of an ordinance pertaining to speed limits and speed zones, please approach the lectern.
Mr. Mayor. Strickman again. First of all, I want to thank council and the staff for looking into this issue, and I am in favor of it. My only suggestion is that there be the resolution not be on the consent agenda so that there is a little public comment period. It can be limited to the number of speakers, the amount of time, but gives the public a little input when you do decide if you're going to change the speed limit. So thank you very much to everybody involved.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else wish to speak in favor? At this time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in opposition to an ordinance pertaining to speed limits and speed zones to please approach the lectern. There being no others to speak for or against an ordinance pertaining to speed limits and speed zones, I now declare the public hearing closed. Please read the ordinance by title only.
Ordinance amending chapter 10.24 of the Casper Municipal Code regarding speed limits and speed zones.
The chair would entertain a motion to approve on first reading the ordinance just read.
So moved. I'll second.
Discussion. Amendments?
Thanks, Mayor. To Mr. Triffman's point, I apologize. I am reviewing the language of the ordinance now, but I do recall us talking about the necessity to preserve a public comment period. And I believe we even talked about leaving it off of consent agendas. And so I just wanted to make sure, I don't know if it needs to be in this ordinance or wherever we might need to formalize something like that. But
Mr. Mayor, Councilor Gamroth, we did indeed discuss that point. Council always has the ability to take any matter off of consent and listen to public comment. And so to preserve the greatest flexibility on council and not to kind of dive into your ability to manage your agenda. We did leave that off with the understanding that the intent would be changes would be brought forth as a separate item, generally, and not on consent.
Thank you, Eric, for the clarification. I guess on that point, when we publish our agenda, we usually get the packet on Friday afternoon. And so really the only opportunity we have to pull things off of consent agenda is on Monday. And that's obviously after we publish it to the public. And so I guess I know we always have the ability to pull it off consent and allow for public comment, but the public would have no advance notice of having that opportunity because we can't pull it off until Monday. And so I guess I would be curious to know what it would look like in practice to just keep those specific items, because I've heard some comments about, folks that would like to just be in the loop and have opportunities to give feedback in the case of changing speed limits and so.
Yeah.
Mayor, Counselor, certainly we could bring forth an amendment that would essentially say approve through resolution after opportunity for public comment by the governing body of the city of Casper. If that's the pleasure of city council, it would be a fairly easy amendment that would absolutely then preserve the ability to have, public comment. So happy to do that if that's the pleasure of council. And we can certainly do that, should it pass tonight on first reading, in preparation for second.
That's what I would like to see. It's just a little bit more.
Yeah. My one comment to that is if we read and keep on top of our grid, we would know when it's coming up. And so before it's ever published, we should be the ones stating that we need to keep it off of consent. So we have that out there as well as doing our jobs to keep it off of consent. Now, I guess the question becomes to council is, do we want to leave it that way, or do we want to codify it as Councilor Gamroth suggested? So I guess how many would want to codify it? Or is there any other discussion before I ask that question?
I guess I don't see a problem with doing it in the second reading to make an amendment then and make it across the board of the second reading. Just do it then.
And that's what I was getting at. Is that what we want to do, or do we not want to even put the amendment forward?
I would suppose that would be my suggestion, is that we do it in the second reading and then we can make that amendment then. And that way it'll give time for the city staff to make a prep the amendment, and then one of us can bring that amendment up.
What I'm trying to figure out is, do we want to have staff spend the time doing that?
Yes, I just said that. Yes.
Okay.
That was my.
Does the rest of the council feel that way?
I would support that too, and mainly because
Okay.
right now, this is kind of a gentleman's agreement, or
Right.
a woman's agreement that we have the option to pull it off consent agenda and so forth.
That's what
But I think for future councils, I think that would add some more clarity to include that stipulation as.
Then we will go ahead and proceed.
Yeah.
But if it was only you and Councilor Gamroth that wanted it in there and nobody else did, I was not going to have to ask staff to make an amendment that would be defeated. That was my whole point in asking those questions. Okay, so I appreciate you folks' patience. So we will go ahead and let's proceed with making an amendment then for the second reading. So any amendments, any further discussion? Any amendments for tonight? Any abstentions or nay votes? All voting aye? Aye. Please record the vote.
All councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
Thank you very much, you all. I appreciate it. I now declare the public hearing open for the consideration of the transfer of ownership interest for retail liquor license number 21 for Wyoming Downs OTB 12. Mr. City Attorney, do you have any exhibits?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do. Exhibit number 1, correspondence from Fleur Tremmel to J. Carter Napier dated April 25th, 2024. Exhibit number 2, affidavit of website publication is published on the City of Casper website dated May 6, 2024. Exhibit number 3, Casper Star Tribune proof of publication published on April 18th and 23rd, 2024. Exhibit number 4, liquor license transfer application filed April 5th, 2024.
Thank you. Mr. City Manager, do you have a report?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, councilors. This really at its heart is a change of ownership, which will require and does require council to weigh in and approve in your processes. In this case, the new owner would be ECWY Acquisition Company LLC, with Mr. Ron Winchell having 100% of that ownership interest, if this is approved by this esteemed body.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. At this time, I would ask those individuals, council will now listen to public comment. Public hearing comments are limited to 5 minutes and no duplication of speakers will be allowed. At this time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in favor of the transfer of retail liquor license number 21 to please approach the lectern. At this time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in opposition to the transfer of retail liquor license number 21 to please approach the lectern. There being no one to speak for or against the transfer of retail liquor license 21, I now declare the public hearing closed. Please read the minute action item by title only.
Transfer of ownership interest for retail liquor license number 21 for Wyoming Downs OTB 12 LLC, doing business as Wyoming Downs OTB 12, located at 1121 Wilkins Circle.
The chair would entertain a motion to approve the minute action item just read.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Abstentions or nay votes? All voting aye? Aye. Please record the vote.
With Councilor Pollock abstaining and all others voting aye, the motion passes.
I now declare the public hearing open for the consideration of new microbrewery liquor license number 11 for Signet Brewing. City Attorney, do you have any exhibits?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do. Exhibit number 1, correspondence from Fleur Tremble to J. Carter Napier dated April 25th, 2024. Exhibit number 2, affidavit of website publication is published on the City of Casper website dated May 6th, 2024. Exhibit number 3, Casper Star Tribune proof of publication published on April 18th and 23rd, 2024. Exhibit number 4, liquor license application filed March 21st, 2024.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Mr. City Manager, do you have a report?
A brief one, Your Honor. This is a new license and an address in the OID that has not previously been a brewery, and so this is a exciting change for the OID and a new use for a legacy building there. And at this point, the applicant still has a couple things to wait on in terms of its full approval from other agencies. Otherwise, however, they have met their obligations with the city.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Council will now listen to public comment. Public hearing comments are limited to 5 minutes and no duplication of speakers will be allowed. At this time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in favor of new microbrewery liquor license number 11 to please approach the lectern.
Good evening. My name is Richard Schwan. I'm one owner of Signet Brewing. My 2 cohorts are back there. And so we're excited to come to the Old Yellowstone District, and just a great opportunity with that building provided to us with that building. And it's something that us as a family have wanted to do for years, even before the first, around the time when there was like 1 or 2 microbreweries. And, now it's just an appropriate time for us, a great opportunity. And we like to think we're going to bring something great to the area too. Thank you.
Very good. We look forward to having you. At this time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in opposition to the new microbrewery liquor license number 11 to please approach the lectern. There being no others to speak for or against the new microbrewery liquor license number 11, I now declare the public hearing closed. Please read the minute action item by title only.
New brewery liquor license number 11 for Signet Brewing LLC doing business as Signet Brewing located at 613 West Yellowstone.
The chair would entertain a motion to approve the minute action item just read.
So moved.
I'll second.
Discussion?
I have a question. I don't know if it's you or Carla. How many microbrew license do we have? Is it unlimited or is there?
Mr. Mayor, in terms of your question, Madam Vice Mayor, are you asking how many we have actually deployed or how many you have available to?
Available.
Available to deploy? Okay, thank you. It is unlimited.
Any other discussion? Any abstentions or nay votes? All voting aye?
Aye.
Please record the vote.
Counselor Pollak abstaining and all others voting aye, the motion passes.
I now declare the public hearing open for the consideration of the transfer of location for Satellite Winery liquor license number 1 for Table Mountain Vineyard Satellite. Mr. City Attorney, do you have any exhibits?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do. Exhibit number 1, correspondence from Fleur Tremble to J. Carter Napier dated April 25th, 2024. Exhibit number 2, affidavit of website publication is published on the City of Casper website dated May 6th, 2024. Exhibit number 3, Casper Star Tribune proof of publication published on April 18th and 23rd, 2024. Exhibit number 4, liquor license transfer application filed April 6th, 2024.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Mr. City Manager, do you have a report?
A brief one, Your Honor. This is a transfer of location for a current license holder of this nature. The location would be moving from 731 East 2nd to 1944 CY Avenue. Otherwise, no other changes that we're aware of.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Council will now listen to public comment. Public hearing comments are limited to 5 minutes and no duplication of speakers will be allowed. At this time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in favor of the transfer of location for winery liquor license number 1 to please approach the lectern. Bless you. At this time, I would ask those individuals who wish to speak in opposition to the transfer of the opposition to the transfer of location for winery liquor license number 1 to please approach the lectern. There being no one to speak for or against the transfer of location for winery liquor license number 1, I now declare the public hearing closed. Please read the minute action item by title only.
Transfer of location for Satellite Winery liquor license number 1 from Table Mountain Vineyards LLC doing business as Table Mountain Vineyards Satellite located at 731 East 2nd Street to Table Mountain Vineyards LLC doing business as Table Mountain Vineyards Satellite located at 1944 CY Avenue.
The chair would entertain a motion to approve the minute action item just read.
So moved.
I'll second.
Discussion? Any abstentions or nay votes? All voting aye? Aye. Please record the vote.
With Counselor Pollak abstaining and all others voting aye, the motion passes.
Please read the ordinance on third reading. And thank you.
An ordinance amending sections 15.40.105 of the Casper Municipal Code establishing a fire self-exception.
The chair would entertain a motion to approve on third reading the ordinance just read.
Second.
Council will now listen to public comment. Public comments are limited to 5 minutes and no duplication speakers will be allowed. Nobody there? Any discussion? Amendments? Abstentions or nay votes? All voting aye.
Aye.
Please record the vote.
With all counselors voting aye, the motion passes.
Please read the ordinance on third reading by title only.
An ordinance amending sections 8.40.040 and 8.44.060 of the Casper Municipal Code pertaining to administrative fees for litter, weed, and pest control abatements.
The chair would entertain a motion to approve on third reading the ordinance just read.
So moved.
Second.
Council will now listen to public comment. Public comments are limited to 5 minutes and no duplication of speakers will be allowed. Anyone to speak for or against? Discussion? Amendments? Any abstentions or nay votes? All voting aye.
Aye.
Please record the vote.
With all counselors voting aye, the motion passes.
Council will now consider consent resolutions. Please read the consent resolutions by title only.
10A1, establishing service fees assessed by the city of Casper under the fire self-inspection program. 10A2, establishing fees for city performed abatements and junk vehicle towing. 10A3, authorizing a contract for professional services with API systems integrators for the annual inspection and repair of fire alarm systems in various city facilities. 10A4, authorizing a revocable license agreement with Brookbaum Casper LLC for installation and maintenance of an irrigation line and an electrical line. 10A5, authorizing change order number 4 to the agreement with GH Fifths Wyoming LLC for the Casper Family Aquatic Center Natatorium Improvements Project. 10A6, authorizing transition to a service fee model for police, cemetery, community development, engineering, solid waste partial, city clerk, municipal court, and metro animal shelter credit and debit card payments. 10A7, authorizing the filing of applications with the Federal Transit Administration for federal transportation assistance. 10A8, authorizing the purchase of 3 15-passenger low-floor buses for use in the city's transit system for Davy Coach from Davy Coach LLC. 10A9, authorizing the purchase of 2 8 to 10-passenger ADA vans for use in the city's transit system from Model 1 Commercial Vehicles Incorporated, doing business as Creative Bus Sales Incorporated. 10A10, approving the vacation and final plat creating the Mountain Plaza Edition Number 8 subdivision and approving the subdivision agreement. 10A11, authorizing a temporary use agreement between the city of Casper, Wyoming and High Plains Fire Conference for the use of the Natrona County Regional Training Facility. 10A12, authorizing a memorandum of understanding between the city of Casper and Wild Complex for parking lot paving. 10A13, authorizing an agreement with JTL Group Incorporated, doing business as Knife River for the Wild Sports Ranch Materials Procurement Project. 10A14, authorizing a software as a service agreement with Benny Systems Incorporated for the use of ski resort operational software at Pogadon Basin Ski Area. 10A15, authorizing a grant award agreement between Wyoming Office of Homeland Security and the City of Casper. 10A16, amending resolution number 22-133 for the purpose of reallocating priorities for the use of 1% number 17 sales tax special project funds allocated under the nonprofit contracts and police categories. 10A17, amending resolution number 23-124 for the purpose of reallocating the use of 1% number 17 sales tax special project funds from the Wyoming Food for Thought project to Metro Animal Control. 10A18, authorizing a contract for professional services with ITC Electrical Technologies for the wastewater treatment plant operations building electrical service upgrade project. 10A19, authorizing a contract for professional services with Burns and McDonnell Engineering Company Incorporated for the CRL lifetime permit application. 10A20, authorizing a revocable license agreement with Mountain West Technologies Corporation for installation and maintenance of a fiber optic line for the North Platte River Park. 10A21, authorizing a lease agreement with Mike Cedar BMX Parents Association Incorporated for the operation of the Mike Cedar BMX track. 10A22, authorizing a lease agreement with Boomtown Motocross for the operation of the Casper Motocross facility. 10A23, authorizing an agreement with Sampson Construction Company Incorporated for construction management services for the Casper Business Center Police Remodel Project. And 10A24, authorizing a rental agreement between the City of Casper and Blade Edge Ventures LLC for the rental of Casper Ice Arena for a new National Collegiate Development Conference hockey franchise in Casper.
Council will now consider consent resolutions. Please read sorry about that. The chair would entertain a motion to adopt the consent agenda items just read.
So, second.
City manager, would you like to comment on any of these items?
No, thank you, sir.
Any abstentions or nay votes?
I'll abstain from 10A23.
All voting aye?
Aye.
Please record the vote.
With Counselor Gamroth's abstention noted and all others voting aye, the motion passes.
Please read the consent minute action title.
11A1, authorizing the appointment of Julie Collins Field to the Casper Housing Authority Board of Commissioners for a term expiring in 2027. And 11A2, authorizing the reappointment of Lisa Ingebretson to the Natrona County Travel and Tourism Board for a 3-year term ending on June 30th, 2027.
The chair would entertain a motion to approve the consent minute action agenda items just read.
Second.
Any abstentions or nay votes?
I'm gonna abstain from 11A2.
All voting aye?
Aye.
Please record the vote.
With Vice Mayor Ingebrigtson's abstention noted and all others voting aye, the motion passes.
At this time, we ask councilors to bring forward relevant concerns or items of interest. We will start with Ms. Haskins if she would like to start us off very quickly.
I don't actually have anything as important as this band concert, so thank you. I'm out.
Very good. We appreciate you being here for this party. Enjoy the family. You bet. Councilor Gamroth.
Thanks, Mayor. Attended the Chamber of Commerce Abby Awards last Wednesday. Had a really good time. Always great to see recognition of all the businesses, mostly small, doing great work in the community. Attended a Clays for the Brave fundraiser for HD Outdoors Friday night. They support guiding hunting trips for disabled vets. Also a very nice evening. And then lastly, I saw some messaging from the marketing department, and just wanted to make sure if you didn't see it, it sounds like from April 24th to May 3rd, the streets division patched 523 potholes and used roughly 37 tons of asphalt. So for folks that are concerned about the condition of the streets after winter, as is typically the case, just wanted to make sure they were aware, working on it. That was kind of the initial push, and then it sounds like we're going to keep working on that. So just appreciate our streets department getting out there and getting work done while the weather allows it. That's all I got. Thank you.
Councilor Pollack.
Thank you very much. I didn't have any meetings, bring back to you all, but I will have Amoco Reed's agreement for power for tomorrow, and regional water before our next meeting. So I'll have some updates for you then. I did get an opportunity this weekend to, join the Casper Mountain Preservation Alliance with their, area tour of Coates Road. So I got to lace up my hiking boots and, join out there. I really appreciated the information provided there, and also the packet that we got here today. Very thankful for all of the information that's being gathered up by citizens, and it's a lot of work, but appreciate seeing all of the participation and folks trying to get as much good information out there as possible. And I think that's all I have.
Councilor Bond.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have any meetings to report on. Just wanted to encourage everyone to attend the police block party on next Wednesday, I think it is, and celebrate National Police Week. So that's at Davis Street Station. I hope the weather holds out for us. So
Counselor Jensen.
As for me, having that extra Tuesday off, I kind of forgot what all I've done. So, I know I did attend the Ebbies too for the Chamber of Commerce Awards. So that was nice to recognize, all the people in our community with the businesses and all their efforts and what they do and how they contribute. So that was wonderful. Yesterday I got to tour the airport with Lisa and Fleur. And so that was fun to do a tour and drive about the airport instead of just seeing inside. We actually got to go see the whole facility of the airport and all the land that they own. So, got an overview of that and the upcoming projects they have, the new buildings that are out there, all the improvements that they've made and future improvements that are coming, and learned how to the procedure of what they're going to use to take the rubber off and how the markings. It was just a lot of interesting details that not everybody gets to see. So it was great to have that opportunity and then spend time with their big fire trucks and tires that are, would they say $3,000 each on those bikes?
2,500 to 3,000.
Yeah, so
Trucks.
just for one tire on a fire truck out there at the airport. So happy we don't have to buy like 12 of those for the city. But otherwise it was great. So that's all I can think of.
I don't have anything to report, but I won't be here next Tuesday. I'm going to be attending the National Healthcare for the Homeless Conference and Policy Symposium in Phoenix. And it's going to be gathering of practitioners, mental health providers, advocates, and people with lived experience in homelessness, and also researchers around homelessness. So I'm hoping to gain some insight, the work that I'm doing in the mental health area, be able to bring that back to the community. So I look forward to reporting on that. Thank you.
Ms. Vice Mayor.
Ended the airport tour. That was interesting. You know, living here my entire life and walking through the airport and various places, I've never had the opportunity to tour the runways and in the back things. So the back lots and all of this stuff. So it was interesting of what they have going on. The Police Week block party is May 15th from 5 to 7 at Davis Street Station. And it looks like the weather is going to be beautiful. Mother Nature might cooperate. And then the Casper Marathon. I was given a card by Mr. Schriftman. It is on June 2nd. You've got till May 31st to pick up a packet. You can go to visit runwyoming.com to get more information. And then I'm not going to be able to attend the Parks and Rec meeting this week as I have got a conflicting other engagement going on. So that's all I have.
Thank you. And yes, if we had a week off, or most of you did, but in the meantime, welcomed the disabled American veterans here on Saturday a week ago. Was a jockey at the day at the races for the Senior Center fundraiser on Friday night. And if you were fortunate enough to bet on me as the jockey, you would have come out quite well. I was very lucky with the roll of the dice. To what? Lucky. That's all it is. It's lucky. You have one that rolls the dice for color and one that rolls the dice for the Spaces Billiards. But yes, that was a very fun evening and quite enjoyable. Along with that, read an abate proclamation this last week, had a meeting with Blue Peak, had a finance committee meeting, attended the Arbor Day tree planting with the youth out at Fort Casper, made the Ebbies the other night. And yesterday morning, I was way early, but finally made the right time for the swearing in of a firefighter, Mr. Brett Morton, over at Fire Station 1. So I think that about covers all of that. I did want to mention one thing. I would suggest from some of the comments from the people in the audience, Could we check on the utilities under Coates Road to satisfy some of that? I assume we have looked at that, but I assume that would be something that your staff could take a check on to make sure we're not going to hurt any of that. And then would we want to get with the school district to check into the ADA questions that were asked this evening?
Mr. Mayor, I think that's an important point. Those are certainly decisions that are made exclusively by the district. I could certainly pass that along.
That would be wonderful. And then I guess I would assume that probably Mr. Schriftman should probably visit with the Fly Casper Alliance to get most of his questions answered. Would that be a reasonable assessment?
Mr. Mayor, I also think that a visit with the director out at the airport would be beneficial as well, given that that's a completely separate entity from the city of Casper.
Very good. We try to address them. Very good. I believe that's probably all I have from council around the table. A notice of an executive session to take place at this date and during this meeting was given. We have matters to discuss related to land acquisition and attorney-client privilege. The chair would entertain a motion to adjourn into executive session, and at the conclusion of that executive session to reconvene this regular meeting solely for the purposes of adjournment of this regular meeting.
Second.
There are a majority of councilors present, and a motion to adjourn into an executive session has been moved and seconded. This motion requires a 2/3 majority of the council present. Any abstentions or nay votes? All voting aye.
Aye.
Please record the vote.
With all councilors voting aye, the motion passes.
A greater than 2/3 majority of the council present voted in favor of the motion. We are hereby adjourned into an executive session. Oh.